Assalamualaikum and hi. So I posted this picture of me on Instagram, and I said that I will explain the story behind that picture in a video later. So this is that video, and I'm even wearing the same shawl. But anyway, so if you watch my previous video, you know that I have been applying for jobs since September for either part-time or full-time or whatever, because I need more money next year and like business has been quite slow. I admit that business has been quite slow, and so I need more money for myself, but and I'm willing to do anything as long as it's halal, okay? It's just that I'm like overqualified for a lot of the positions that I applied for. Like, who would have thought overqualification is a problem? So this video is about this one interview that I got. Like, out of all the positions that I applied for, I only got an interview for this one. So this is pretty interesting. It's a store that has not opened but will open. It's already opened. It's already open, but it just opened. And this was like before it opened, so they were like looking for staff. Like, so, okay, so you have to apply on their website. So I applied on the website. I applied for 3 positions on the website, 2 full-time, 1 part-time. So this interview turned out for that part-time job. So the 2 full-time positions, they haven't even conducted the interview yet. Either that or I am not selected. Yeah, because I am like, you know, who would hire me? So anyway, this interview was quite interesting. At 7:54 p.m, I got this WhatsApp message telling me, just a reminder, telling me that we're going to have a video interview at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. in like 6 minutes, and they would appreciate it if I would go to a place with good internet connection with headphones on. And it was like in 6 minutes. So I didn't check that SMS, I didn't check that WhatsApp until like 8:30. So I'm like, and that person already mentioned like from which store they're from, and I'm like, I just messaged back saying, can we retime it? And he said, okay, sure, but probably not tonight, because he has like a long list of candidates to go through. I'm like, okay, sure. Then next, I'm like, oh, I'm going to miss this. I don't even know what position that is. I just know that company that I applied like 3 positions in. So he said like, okay, tomorrow we will. I will see if I can fit you in tomorrow. So okay. So he messaged me like 9:15, 9:15 in the morning. He messaged me saying that we will start interview at 10:30 a.m. 10:30 a.m. So it was good time. It's like 1 hour and 15 minutes. So okay, I woke up and have breakfast and like do all of my things, and then at 10:30 a.m. I sat like this at the edge of my bed with my phone on a tripod, ready for my 10:30 a.m. interview. And I sat there for like 1 hour until like 11:30 a.m. and I just waited and waited and waited and waited. And while I was waiting, I took that picture. Yay! So I decided, okay, and then I read the message again, and it actually said, we will start the interview at 10:30 a.m. We have a long list of candidates, so meaning that he will start interviewing people at 10:30 a.m. It doesn't mean it's me, okay? It could be anybody. Could be anybody. So I'm like, okay, I've waited for 1 hour. It's already 11:30 a.m. So I'm going to go and live my life. Okay, it's a Friday. We had a dinner that night with the whole family, and it's Friday. I have to go to boutique and, you know, catch up with my stuff and like collect money and all those things, because it's Friday. I have to go there before the weekend, because the weekend will close. So I'm like, I'm gonna live my life today. So yeah. 11:30, I took off my shawl and then just go, because I really needed to pee at that time. So I just went to pee and like do all my things, and I got the message again at 6, and saying, can we do the thing at 6:30 or something? At 6:30, okay. I was getting ready to exercise. I already had my jump rope on, and like I was already holding my jump rope like ready to jump. when I was just checking my phone because I wanted to turn on the podcast. And then I'm like, what, 6:30? He said, okay, let's do it after Maghrib. You know, like discussing back and forth, like after Maghrib. Eventually, my video interview was at 7 p.m. Let's not even discuss why. So this guy is obviously not a very competent manager. So we had an interview at 7 p.m. and like the whole family is already downstairs eating and I'm like in my room talking to the phone. But most of the questions, I mean, we were already halfway through the questions and I felt like these questions are so weird because most of them are like personality questions. Seriously, the whole interview felt like a speed date. Like when I told my friend about it, she's like, that sounds like speed dating, and I'm like, yeah, it does. One of the questions was, what is your biggest accomplishment of 2018? I mean, it's still October, right? But I'm like, okay, never mind. My biggest accomplishment is my stamina because I've been exercising for a year because 2018 my focus was my health. So I wanted to improve my health, so I've been exercising so I can now jump rope for like 10 minutes straight. So I'm like, yeah, okay. He was like, oh, he was quite impressed. And then, and then he also asked like, what is one thing that you would like to improve in 2018 that you've done that you feel like you want to improve or like a sort of regret or something? And then I'm like, So I told him like one thing that I wanted to improve was my relationship with my customers, because this year most of my staff did most of the customer service things and I haven't been doing much of that, and because of that I feel like I've lost touch. So anyway, you know, I have been a marketing manager for 4 years, okay? So like what did he expect me to answer? And then like I felt like the questions were a bit too casual. So I'm like, what position is this interview for? He's like, oh, it's for the Christmas part-timer position. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I wonder why did you apply for this job, for this position, since you're very senior already. You're like very experienced. And I'm like, well, actually, because I don't have a choice. But anyway, and then I told him like what happened to the other two positions, like the manager and the assistant manager position. And he said, oh, they haven't called you yet? No, because HR is supposed to do it, and I don't think they have even started yet. No, okay. Because he is a store manager from the stores in KL, one of the stores in KL, and so he's being transferred here. I don't know if it's permanently or temporary. I don't know, I don't care. But yeah, and then I'm like, shouldn't you like go through the applicants list before you interview them? Because he has 30 people to interview in 2 days. Like orders from above are saying that he has to interview all people in these 2 days and like hire them. And then he said, oh, everything is very last minute and he wants to give everybody equal chance. Everybody equal chance, all 30 of them, which is like killing yourself. But I guess if he was competent, then I wouldn't get my interview. But in the end, like, what's the point since I'm not getting hired? Because if he had read my resume or whatever, then he would have known that I probably am either not qualified or overqualified for the job. Thank you for wasting my time. But anyway, I felt like only one question was very relevant to the job, where he asked like a situational question, and I just answered that. And at the end of it, he's like, there's no right or wrong answer. But I'm like, mine is the right answer, okay? Anything that's other than this one is like wrong. If I was him and I was asking that question and people gave like different answers, then I'm like, no, you're not hired. But anyway, and then like I answered 2 questions. Then 2 of the questions that I answered are related to death. Okay, and he asked me like, what is your proudest moment? So this is different than what is your biggest accomplishment, okay? So this is like, what is your proudest moment of 2018 so far? And I'm like, when I could bury my dead cat by myself. Okay, so my cat John died last month. my cat John died in September, and I managed to take a hoe and like really dig a hole for her, like 3 feet deep. This is the first time I buried my own cat, because other times I gave it to other people. We have like the gardener next door or someone who happens to be like working on the land or something. I just told him, could you please bury my cat? But this is the first time I actually like dig a hole for my cat, and I felt very accomplished and I felt very proud of it, because before I couldn't even do that because the hoe was too heavy for me. I struck the ground 3 times and my hands are shaking because I am not strong. So because I've been exercising for 1 year, my strength has improved, like especially my arm strength has improved, like my forearm. Wow, you know. So like I could dig a hole, I could just go all day digging that hole. But you know, because like John has been with me for 3 years, so she's like one of my oldest cats right now. At that time, my oldest cat is actually Lulu, but John is also like quite old, because I don't know how old she is. So I was quite proud of it, and I said yeah, and you know, and then he's like, okay, that cat, the buried. He was like writing on a piece of paper, like the form. And then he asked me like, oh, what is your experience with teamwork? When I was working in Kinokuniya, everybody knows their role in the team, so everything runs smoothly. You don't really feel it because everybody knows what they're doing. It's when something goes wrong that someone is not doing their job. So every day is a good teamwork day. But he wants a story, he wants something great, so I gave him a story about this. So while I was working in Kinokuniya, there was this old British man. He was like really old, because he was like, his skin was almost transparent and he had like watery eyes, and he was speaking like almost, he has a shaky voice because he was like that old. And he came to the counter and he was asking us where can he find the grave of his wife. Yeah, this is my second answer that's related to death in this interview. So he asked, his wife was a nurse during World War II with the Australian regiment in Kuala Lumpur. The wife is British with the Australian regiment in World War II in Kuala Lumpur, and she died at that time. So he was asking where can I find the grave of his wife, and I'm like, I'm not from KL, so I don't know. So I asked my colleague who's also from KL, and thankfully she's one of those knowledgeable person. So she told me there's a public cemetery in Cheras or something, which is not too far from KLCC. You're like, oh really? Yeah. And then so we opened a map of Kuala Lumpur, and then I managed to point out the graveyard, the cemetery for him. Like, this is the public cemetery. She might be there because it's a pretty old cemetery, so they might have people from that time period. So I'm like, okay. And then we are here. This is KLCC. This is the cemetery. So we made this. And then he's like, I will buy this map. So okay, and then we drew on the map, because if he doesn't buy it, then I'm screwed because I'm in charge of the maps. So, and he was like so grateful that and because you know of his shaking voice, we don't know if he was crying, but we felt like crying because he was like so happy and grateful. So people don't normally go to a bookstore for that sort of thing, because you go to like Google or something. But you know, it felt very good because at the end of the day, you know, customers, they come with a need, so it's up to you to match the need with the product, and then they come together and it becomes something wonderful. Another question that he asked me that I feel like this is like the nail on the coffin on this job, I probably won't get it. And he's like, what do you enjoy doing? Like, what is like the best day ever? I think, yeah, the question was like, what is like the best day ever to you? And I'm like, the best day ever is when I have enough time to exercise and I can feed my cats on time and I have enough to eat. We are people with responsibilities, okay? There's no such thing as living a fantasy life. And like, he was so surprised, and I don't know, I think he was so confused with my answer that he repeated the question. What do you enjoy doing? You know, like if you have all the time in the world or something like that, like what do you enjoy doing? Basically like that. And I'm like, I like reading and watching movies, but I don't want to do them all day, you know, because I still need to exercise and feed my cats. And we are adults with responsibilities. We live in the real world. We don't live in a fantasy world where we don't have responsibilities. And I like having my responsibilities and my routine. My routine makes me happy because if I could just have enough time to exercise every day and feed my cats on time, then it's a great day. So I told him basically every day is a great day for me if I could do those things, or you know, like everything falls into place. Because I've had like really bad days when like of my cats, I have 7 cats now, 4 of them are sick, you know, and then I have to feed the medicine 3 times a day, and that's not cool because that's no. Because if I don't feed the medicine and they get even worse, then I feel guilty because I made them feel pain. At the same time, I feel bad for myself because I have to pay more for the vet fees. The vet fees are really expensive. So yeah. So it's no surprise that I didn't get hired, I guess, with those answers. And because probably, you know, I'm so boring and maybe my answers are a bit morbid. I don't know. I don't think they're morbid because, you know, this is like real life. And actually, like, now that the stores are open, I'm quite curious as to see like what kind of people with interesting personalities did they hire instead of me, who's like overqualified for the job. Maybe he thought that I would probably get hired for another position in the companies, in the, you know, like the other 2 that I applied for. But I'm still unemployed till this day. So yeah, the speed dating interview, my friend called it. But that's what happened. So I don't know what I don't know any other way to answer the interview questions. This is me being honest. You know, I asked him like, why aren't they doing the interviews for the manager and the store manager positions yet? And he said, well, I don't think there's any need for a manager yet because I'm already like the best manager ever. He said that, and then I replied him, well, that's debatable. Because you know, if he was like a competent manager, then he would be more organized in this. And he is like walking around with his phone and like using his own data because that's like his personal phone number, like so unprofessional. But anyway, it's his funeral. So yeah, that's it for my story today. Thank you for watching and good night.